Introduction to Designing Lessons with Apps and Tools, Tutor Bohlale. I hope you do enjoy the session. But before we begin, let me introduce myself. I'm your trainer for today, and my name is Quintre Safala, and my producer and moderator is Zodumo. If you do have any questions, she will be able to assist you. And if you want any email or if you've been receiving any email, it's because of her. So we can get social as well. Do follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We are SchoolNet South Africa or SchoolNet SA. And you can also follow Microsoft Education just to get to know what Microsoft is developing or what's new. All right, just to start our session, welcome to our session. We will be looking at Introduction to Designing Lessons with Apps and Tools. And our outcomes today would be to learn about the models of learning design, UDL, as well as the TIPAC, to be aware of our framework for digital learning, and to designing learning to maximize creation of meaning, as well as using apps and tools to support learning. Just to begin, so what we start off, we'll talk about our digital teaching. So what you see here is our TIPAC model. So a TIPAC model is basically a technology integration framework that looks at how you as a teacher integrate educational technology in the classroom. What you will be focusing on is the pedagogy, the content, and the 21st century technology. So what is pedagogy? Pedagogy is basically how your students learn best. Your teaching methods, do your teaching methods meet your students' needs? Are you using visual teaching? Are you using pictures, videos? Are you using group discussions? Or are you using Q&A sessions in your classroom? As I was saying, pedagogy is basically you being the master of classroom strategies, applying the learning theories and techniques of teaching your students, as well as grading, how you grade your students to inform them about how they're doing. And then there's the content knowledge in our TIPAC model, where the content model looks at what are you teaching and your overall knowledge about the subjects that you are teaching. So basically you thoroughly know your content, your subject, and you confident and comfortable with that. And I'm very aware that teachers know their subject and thoroughly so. And then we look at our technology knowledge. So technology is what digital tools are available to you at that moment in time. And with all the digital tools that are available to you, which tools can you currently use or are you comfortable using? And also we'll look at the tools that are appropriate for the specific content or subject or rather topic that you'll be teaching at that moment in time. And with those three circles, what we are looking for is the sweet spot. So this mini triangle here is what we aim to achieve. We aim to achieve a 21st century classroom that focus on basically blending the relationship between content, pedagogy, and including all those three circles into a beautiful learning environment in terms of technology integration. And then now we're going to look at the framework for digital learning. So with the framework of digital learning, we will look at level 4, which is digital learning, D. So level 4D, where we want a full range of interactions for students, where they are able to have learner-to-learner interactions, where they collaborate in a deeper manner, and they're able to have a teacher-learner dialogue whereby it enhances deeper learning and also includes technology integration. So this is what we aim to achieve. However, there's many ways where with the digital learning framework, students are at or teachers are at right now, where teachers have teacher-led activities that are focusing mainly on remembering and teaching. So we want to move a bit away from that and find ways to make sure that students understand the knowledge and work together to make sure that it's deeper and it's more and it's relevant to them while we integrate our technology. So now when we look at designing learning, so designing learning is basically our students learning variability, which is encouraged through three networks. So the networks are engagement, which is the why of learning. And we look at the effective networks. So this is why students learning. And then we will look at representation. This is what students are learning, which will align with the recognition network. So this is the perception, the language, the symbols, as well as the comprehension. And then we will look at the action and expression, which is the how of learning. And the how of learning aligns with the strategic networks. Where we look at the physical actions of learning, how students express themselves, are they able to communicate with each other, and how we execute it all in terms of these networks. Now, this is the universal learning design. And the universal learning design does not mean universal as in one way of designing lessons. Instead, it looks at designing lessons in such a way that it includes all the students within a learning dynamic. So we aim to look at all our students because all our students are different, you know. So like we said earlier on that it looks at three elements, which is your recognition networks, your affective network, as well as strategic network, the what, why, and how of learning, right? So like we said, teachers will provide content or relevance, and this looks at the why, and uh, where students will be engaged and what they learn about the topic. And then teachers will also provide the content, which ignites the prior learning or of the knowledge or the prior skills of the students or what they know at that moment. And the learning is recognized through words, through pictures, through video or comprehension. And then we'll also look at the opportunity to provide expression through the strategic networks where they planning and performing tasks, organizing and expressing their ideas, and just providing an overall experience of learning for our students. So we have touched our theory part of the session, which was just quick and straightforward. And now I'm going to dive into our apps and tools. So Microsoft Teams has a wide range of applications and tools that are available within the platform that you can use to enhance your teaching for your learners, right? So what apps does Microsoft Teams have? So like I said, there's a wide range. There's Flipgrid, there's Forms, there's Mind Mister. I'm gonna show you a few of them while we're going through the session. There's PowerPoint, which we all know, PDF, which we all know, website, you can add a website, Wiki, a collaboration space for your students, and Word, which all of us know, it's a Word document. So there's also other application tools that we are not familiar with. So there's quite a lot of application tools. There's these application tools here, and honestly, I don't know all of them. So we learn with these application tools. Some of them are basically calendars or scheduling calendars. Others are video applications, but basically the honest truth is you must work with what you know on and work with what you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable with using a website from a site that you found, you go with that. If you're comfortable with using YouTube, you go with that. The important thing is use what you're comfortable with or what is relevant to you at that moment and time. So now we're going to look at one of the applications. It's called Flipgrid. So Flipgrid, it's a video response tool. So it's applicable to all across all grades, as well as you as colleagues can work or rather use it together. You could use it for multiple subjects. You could use it for mathematics, you could use it for science, for music, for reading, social sciences. Just to give you an idea, with maths, you can ask them to explain a solution or thinking behind um, a solution they have provided to you, or they could correct an error. And then with reading, you can allow them to record an oral video so that they could record themselves reading to you. With COVID-19 now, not students not coming to class all the time, you can ask them to record an oral reading just to find out in terms of their reading if it's getting better, or if they know their verbs and pronouns and so forth. You can also, if it's for social studies, you can ask them to share a specific topic and explain to you what they understand with regards to that. So here is a code. The code is Sefala2233 that takes you to our Flipgrid. I'll just share all these tools and then I'll take you through them step by step, or rather one by one. And then we have the print response, which is the shared documents. So with the shared documents, it's a wiki space. So a wiki space is basically a collaborative space where students can work together or work on one document together. This can work with when you ask them a question, how can we reach our learners more? And then you can have conversations as they respond to that question, and you can tell who responded and who didn't respond. This tool, or rather this application, can also work in the form of group work for students, where students can collaborate and work together to regarding or depending on whatever subjects that they will be focusing on at that moment in time, where they will collaborate and work together to create a wiki space, or rather to produce the work that you want them to do. Right. So now, since I've showed you Flipgrid as well as Wiki, before I explore Teams, I'm just going to show you how Flipgrid works, and then we'll take it from there. I'll just stop presenting. If you have a question, please do ask me before I move to Flipgrid. Right. Do we have any questions so far? Okay, I'd like to assume there's no question. So I will share my screen and show you Flipgrid. So when you look for Flipgrid, like I said, Flipgrid is a video response space. So I will type in Flipgrid. And then here it is, Flipgrid, empower every voice. You select it. And then this is the welcome screen for Flipgrid, where you create simple video discussions. And this makes learning fun, fulfilling, and empowering. And it works across all grades, primary, high school, university, it works. So just to show you the backgrounds, how it works with students. So that's basically that. You sign up. So if you have a group join code, that's the code that I've provided, Sefala2233. You can just enter it here and it takes you to our group. As an educator, you can sign up. And when you sign up, it will take you to a different window. Okay, I've already signed up. But it will ask you to sign up as a using Microsoft or using Google, and you will select whichever one that you are comfortable with. So in my Flipgrid, I have 5 groups. So these 5 groups are life sciences, WOW or Life Sciences, Apps and Tools for Learning, Introductions, and I have 8 topics. So in each and every group, there is a topic that you will put in, or there is a hello, say hello on Flipgrid. All of those groups have this say hello on Flipgrid situation. Right, I'll just show you how it works by going to WOW. So in WOW, we were discussing COVID-19 impacts. You get to see that in this WOW group, I have 3 members, and those members are Tichaona, Quintress. I joined with two applications, or rather 2 emails, and then there's 2 topics. In our topics, there's the general one where a student responds by saying hello, and then there's the COVID-19 impact. Just to show you how it works, when you select the group, just say hello. So the students can just say hello by adding a response. You can add a first response, and it will open a video space. You'll have to allow a microphone or camera. I'm not too sure if it's gonna allow me now since, all right, there we go. And students can just say, hi, ma'am, my name is Quintress, and so forth. You can add effects or backdrops if you're comfortable with that. And you can time how long you want your responses to be for your students. All right, I'm just going to close that and just show you one response we had in our WOW group for the COVID-19 impact. So this is how you're going to see a response. Quintress Safala had 13 views. Students can hide their faces if they don't want them to be seen on the profile part of it, and they can select. You as a teacher will select, and here you will see the response from students. So that was just me showing a sample of how students will respond. Students can also add a comment, or you as a teacher can add a comment and let your students know how you feel with regards to their video submission. So that is in a short, quick show. This is Flipgrid. It's a video response. It's used by multiple schools, oral reading, or for anything at that matter that you'd be comfortable with. Right. And then now I'll show you Wiki. So there's a Wiki. So in Wiki, this is a collaborative space. So in Wiki, you can write a page name. Page name, you could just say discuss biodiversity. And then from here, you can give them a question in terms of what you'd want them to discuss among themselves. What is sorry about that. What is biodiversity? And then there is this chat option here. When you select this chat option, it shows you conversations regarding people answering the question. I can just ask Zotumo if she'll appear to just give us a random answer, or just anything, just to show you how it works. What is biodiversity? She'll get a notification on what is biodiversity, and just to run down what Teams is again, so that you can remember what Team is. Remember, we are at the life science teams, or rather, no, actually, the Tutobuhlale team in the life science channel, and we are in the Wiki tab, just to show you the navigation in Teams. So we are in Bututo Buhlale, and we are in the life science channel. I hope we're following through. I hope we're following through. I hope I'm not losing anybody. But this is Wiki, and this is how you would, or students would respond. You can add a new section if you wanted to add a section. You could remove or delete that section. And you could basically do a lot of collaborations here. But let me just show you our apps and tools by going to posts. Right. There you go. So you could see that Zotumo has responded to our wiki by letting us know what biodiversity is. So you could tell that, okay, Sharp, my student Zotumo has told me what biodiversity is, and you can comment further and let them know that they are correct or incorrect, or just leave them to discuss so that you could influence a deeper learning with regards to learner-to-learner interaction and group discussions. So let me just show you how to add a couple of applications and tools on Teams. That way you are able to use the apps and tools that are available. Right. To use apps and tools, you will go to this plus sign. So in every Teams channel, you have an opportunity to add any applications that you'd want to add. Like I said, use applications that you're comfortable with, or rather that you're familiar with. So you'll go to add a tab. And then from edit tab, we start with one you're comfortable with. Let's say you found a YouTube channel, or rather a YouTube link that you want to use. You will click on YouTube. And then from here, you can search the video, or you can paste a link that you found. I know we use YouTube for multiple reasons. It helps learners better understand certain concepts, or that we can explain, or rather we saw the videography as it better explains the concept. So here you will just type in the topic, biodiversity, and then you'll search. And then you'll select a video, any video that you want. Why is biodiversity so important? You select that video. Always make sure this checkbox is clicked or selected. So this means that you post this app or tab to the channel so that students or your members know that you have added a video or a YouTube video called Why is Biodiversity So Important? And then you click on Save. Right. So once you've clicked on save, a new tab will be added with the name of the video on YouTube. So here it is. Why is biodiversity important? Once you have added your YouTube video, it's very important to go back to your post and write something regarding that video to inform your students what you'd want them to focus on, or to learn, or to understand with regards to the YouTube video that you have added. Hi students, please go through this video for the upcoming test. So what happens is the students, when they go into their teams, they will see that Sir or Ma'am has added a video called Why is Diversity Important? And she has stated that please go through this video for our upcoming test. So they should be aware that the test that they will be writing soon is about something regarding biodiversity. Right, so that is how you add a YouTube video. And then let me show you how to add a couple of more apps. So we will click on Edit tab. So now let's say you have a Word document that you'd like to add, or you want to add a just a Word document. You select Word document. You can give the tab a name. So so you could just give it a name, QR codes, and then you can select the document. So it's important that with the Word document, you need to make sure that it is added as part of your files so that you're able to select it and save. Like I said, it's important to make sure this checkbox is selected so that it can post in the post section that this tab has been added, and then you save. So a new tab will be added with the QR codes. And here you can edit the Word document however way you want it. The way Word works, you can italic, you can increase the font, you can work on this application, you can insert pictures. Basically, this is a Word document as you use on everyday life if you are using Word or as your Microsoft Office tools. Right, so now let's add a website. So you found a website that has amazing content that you'd like to share with your students, and you'd want to have it on your Microsoft Teams. To add a website, you can type or search for website, then a website app will appear. So you'll select website, but now this one would want you to have already found the website, copied the link, and so forth. So we will look for our website. So we'll just say biodiversity. And then you enter, and you just find a website that you like. So you will just use this American one, and then you copy the link. You copy the link, and then you go back to your Microsoft Teams, and then you give your tab a name, biodiversity, and then you add your link. You paste your link, right? Once you have done that, always make sure that this block is selected so that your tab can be added into your posts. And then you save. Once you've saved, the website will appear on your Microsoft Teams under your tabs. So your students can read this website to find more information about biodiversity, or you can use it as a reference for them in terms of research or anything that you'd want them to learn. Right, before I move, or rather I add more applications, because so far I've added 3 applications. I've added YouTube, I've added a website, as well as a Word document. And I've also shown you Flipgrid as well as Wiki. And I believe all those 5 are already a mouthful. So before I can show you more, do I have any questions? Right, I'm just looking at the comments. All right, no comment yet. If you have a question, please do unmute your mic and ask the question.
I just wanted to ask a question.
Yes.
Are these apps available on the Teams website, on the Teams thingy?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So
So we
let me
don't
just,
have to do them or anything like that.
no. Of course, Teams doesn't have all the application tools there, but what Teams have, let me just go to apps. So it has a wide range of apps that you can select from. So these are the apps available at Teams. So you could just select whichever one that you're comfortable with, whichever one that you know best, and whichever one that works with your topic at that moment in time, or the one that you're most comfortable with. So the ones that are familiar on Teams, let me just show you which ones are more familiar, or the ones that people are familiar with, are your Excel, your YouTube, Flipgrid, your PowerPoint, website, Word. So these are the ones that people are familiar with. But you have like a wide range of applications and tools that you can select and play with. So it has a lot of applications. As I'm scrolling, you can see the list just continues and it goes on and on and on and on. The important thing is to use what you are comfortable with. There's polys if you want to have polls with your students, if they understand the topic, yes, no type of situation. See, there's quite a lot. So these are already embedded within Teams. So when you select one, you can just add it as a tab or add it onto your Teams.
All right, thank you. Understood. I understand now. Thank you.
I'm glad. Any other questions? I'll just go back to my first question. Has anybody played with Teams with regards to the homework given? Has anybody created a team, a channel, or would you like me to take you through that step again? How to create a team, how to register, and so forth, just to make sure that everybody is clear with that step.
If you could please just one more time. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Okay, let me just take you through that again. Right, so let me stop sharing my screen. And look for the right PPT. Just give me a second. All right, so like I've mentioned before, with Microsoft Teams, you need to have your Office 365 account. I believe everybody has an Office 3 or what do you call it, a GDE email address, and that forms part of your Office 365 account. So all you have to do is to go to your Office 365 account, find Microsoft Teams, and then sign into Teams. Let me just show you. Right. So I'll use Explorer for this one. You go to Office 365 login. And then you click on Office 365 login. It might take me in because I've already logged in. So let me sign out just to show you how it is. Right. So this is your Office 365 login platform. So to log in or to sign in, you'll go to sign in, right? And then I'll just say use another account. Here you will put in your GDE email address. My email address would be quintress@schoolnet.org.za. For you, it would be, I'm not sure if it's your personal a personnel number at GDE or something along those lines. And then you go next. And then from here, it will ask you if you want to use a work or school account or a personal account. We go with the work or school account because this was created by your IT department. In your case, it was the Department of Education that created this, the IT department. You select that one and then you put your password. I'd like to assume that you know your passwords. If not, you'll have to find out with your IT department if they can reset the password for you. I will add my password and I'll sign in. Okay, so I never save my login details for safety reasons. You can select yes to avoid being asked a couple of times to sign in. And then from here, you have your Office 365 space, right? So to look or to find for Microsoft Teams, you can search here for Teams, or you can go to this three dotted bullet as an app launcher and you select the app launcher. From there, you look for your Microsoft Teams app. So you can go to all apps, or you can search Teams, and then you find your Teams app. When you select your Teams app, it will launch Microsoft Teams. So this is how you find or you log in to Microsoft Teams. So if you have an app, it will launch and it will give you an option to open with an app, or it will just open directly on the web Microsoft Teams. So we got that one done. So now you have logged in, selected your teams, and now you have your teams. Just to take you through again how to create a team. So you'll go to create a team. From here, a team is your workspace. It's your collaborative space. It's where you and your members or your students or your colleagues will work together. So you'll create a team. It's always advisable to create it from scratch unless if you want to select a template that's available. So you will select it from scratch. And from there, you can make it a private or a public. So here you will then make it a public so that anybody in your organization can join. From here, you give your teams a name. So a name of your team could be your class or the subject you teach. For example, if you teach grade 10A, 11B, and 12C life sciences, you can call this life sciences, or you could call it geography, or you could call it the specific grade that you are teaching. So if you teach grade 11A, you teach them maths and science, you could just say grade 11A. So you know that this is where grade 11A will collaborate and work together as students. If it's teams for your colleagues, then you'll give it an appropriate name. You can write a description. If you don't and have any, you can create. All right. Once you have created your teams, you now add your students. So you add Bolerato, Bosbongile, Bomatapelo to your teams so that they're able to work with you or to collaborate or to get any communication from you. Anything that you do on the teams, they're able to get a notification through their email addresses or through the app if they have downloaded the app. It's always advisable for them to actually download the application for easy access, for easy collaboration. So you add your students, Quintris Safala, you add them as a guest, you add Lerato, if there's an email like that, Lerato 23 at gmail.com. You let it load, you add Lerato as a guest. If you want to add Bongile, Bongile 22 at gmail or at yahoo.com, just to show you different domains. So you can add your students with different domains, whether your student is on Yahoo or Gmail or Microsoft or any other domain, they can be added. But however, as long as they're not within the same domain as you, they will appear as guests. So now you have members for your grade 11A. If you want to add a teacher that you work with in grade 11A, you can add a teacher who is in the same domain as you. So in the same organization as you. I will add Zotumo as a teacher that I work with. And then I select add. So what you will notice is that Sbongile, Lerato, and Quinn are guests guests because they're not in the same organization as me. And Zotumo is a member because she is in the same organization as me. She's in SchoolNet. So anybody in GDE will appear as a member instead of a guest. And you can make that teacher an owner or a member depending on what you're comfortable with, because they are different, what would you call this? Different rights to an owner and to a member. And then from there, you close. So if there is anybody with lerato23@gmail.com, I just created that randomly. That person right now will receive an email informing them that they have been added to a team. I just hope they don't get a shock of their life, but yeah, so that's just how you add a student. This is how it will appear. So grade 11A, this is your class, and there is the general channel. So now you teach your students two subjects. You teach them geography and mathematics. You want to make sure that whichever communication is relevant to that specific subject, and therefore you'll have to add channels. Channels will form part as like a subtopic. So grade 11A is your main topic and your channels are your subtopics. So how do you add a channel? To add a channel, you'll go to your teams and you select this more option, 3 dotted bullets, and then you add a channel. Just below manage teams, there's add a channel. From here, you give your channel a name. So you teach grade 11A geography. You give them a description, only geo-related work. Straight up that. Anything other than that is not allowed. And then you make it standard to everybody, your students, and you include this box to make sure that everybody knows that there is a channel called geography, that only geo-related work is allowed. And then you add that channel. And then you want to add another channel because you teach grade 11A geography and mathematics. So you'll go to more options again, add a channel, and then you add mathematics. Then you let them know only maths related work and nothing else. And then it's standard, accessible to everyone on Teams. And then you select to automatically show this on everybody's channel. So the minute you edit, it will notify all of us that there is a channel named mathematics. Then you add. So now this is Miss Quinn's class where she teaches grade 11A, and in grade 11A she teaches them geography and mathematics. And in geography, it's only geography related work. In mathematics, it's only math related work. Are we clear so far? Can I get a heads up if we're clear so far?
Clear so far?
Thank you. Right. So now that you've created your team, your collaborative space, you have your students added, you have your channels added. Let's say you happen to forget a student that didn't have an email address and you want to add them. It's simple. You go to your teams and then you go to more options and then you add a member. So this is where you will add your member. So on more options, there's several things you can do. You can manage your team. So in managing your team, it's you managing the rights, what people have access to. You get to see who's the members, who are the students. You get to see the channels that you have and the descriptions. You get to see the settings. Settings, what is your guest accessible to? What can they do and not do? What can the members of your teams do and cannot do? And you're able to see the analytics. How many users are there? How many apps are there? engagements, and so forth. Let me just see if I can find anything to show you the analytics. So I'm just show you. So see analytics, you get to see active users, owners, and so forth, just to see how analytics works. In the grade 11A, under manage team, you also get to see the apps that are there. You can delete an app if you don't know it or you don't want it. For example, okay, this is blocking my view. Right. All right, sorry about that. So if, for example, you don't know what Power BI is, you can delete that. If you don't know what praise is, you can also delete that. But if you want to explore it, you can let it be. You can also see the tags. Tags is to notify people by mentioning them, right? So that's how you can manage your team. If there's a student who want to leave the team or you are part of a team, you want to leave it, you can just select leave a team. If you want to edit anything with regards to your team, you can edit it. If you want to get a link, you can select that and get a link. If you want to delete the team altogether, you can just delete the team. So now let's go to geography. So now that we have our team set, ready to go, and we just wanted to add a introduction video, welcome to Teams or so forth, or whatever application tools that you want your students to have access to, just to add the app or the digital tool, you'll go to this plus sign. So this plus sign here allows you to add a tab. So when you select add a tab, you'll have access to all these apps under Microsoft Teams where, okay, what just happened? Oh, selected that. Okay. Sorry about that. Then here you just choose a tab or an application or tool that you're comfortable with. If you want to add an Excel where you want to show your students the different marks or just to show them how everybody's doing, you could add an Excel document. You can add OneNote if you'd like to explore OneNote to collaborate with your team. You can add MindMister. So MindMister allows you to brainstorm. So it's a brainstorm tool. So if you wanted your students to create a mind map, so they're able to create a mind map with MindMister. If you want to have a planner, just show you a planner. So a task by planner. So here with planner, you can add a planner or to-do task where you create a task if you have any homework for your students. So tab name, you can call it task or you can call it assignment or homework. And then you can save, right? So this is your planner if you want to plan your day, if you want to plan with your students, or if your students want to know when is a homework due, what is due, when is due, and then you can add a task. So you could just say introductions. I don't know geography topics. I'm not an expert in geography. You could just say introductions, homework, and then you set a due date. So this homework is due on Thursday, and you want to assign it to your students. So you'll see these are the students, then you assign it to your students or to a teacher. assign, assign, and then you add a task. So everybody who was assigned will get a notification that they have homework to do, and it's introduction. So they are able to then come here and mark it as complete if they want to. So they can add an attachment with their homework, or as a URL, or a file from Teams, or a file from a computer. So this is just to show you how it works. You can go to schedule. So schedule shows you your schedule with your students if you have set any homeworks. So on the 9th, you know there's introduction to homework that is due. Right. So this is a lovely tool to have. So it keeps you organized with the homeworks, what is due, what is not, and how to schedule your sessions. So now let's say you have all your teams. Okay, before I move to that, is everyone clear on that? Just to add an application, like I've shown you earlier on how to add an application. Are we clear on that part? So we can wrap up soon.
We're clear.
Right. So now you have a team, you want to meet with your students and actually have a session like we are having right now. So you want to have a virtual training with your students. How do you do that with Microsoft Teams? So how to do that is you will go to a specific channel, right? So under mathematics, we're going to set up a meeting with our students, a virtual classroom with our students. And here you will go to this platform here where there's a video and it says meet. And you select the more options button. So you can meet now with your students, which is not recommended. Meet now as if you have a meeting with your colleagues, quick, then you can do that. There's a schedule a meeting. So this is where you schedule a virtual lesson with your students. You will select schedule a meeting. And then here, this is where you set your meeting information or details and get the meeting link. So now here, that's where you set up your classroom, virtual classroom details. So you will say, no, this is mathematics, exactly. So introductions to grade 11 topics, introductions to trigonometry. Right. And then you add your attendees. You have an option to leave it out. We normally just leave it out because you're going to share the link with your students. But if you want to add your colleagues so that they have the meeting on their end, you could just say, write your colleague's email address or just their name if they are part of your organization, and they are added that way. And then you set, please note that with Zotumo, it says busy. And the reason it says busy, it's because she's currently in this call as well. So it will mark her as busy, but she will get a calendar notification that she has an introduction to trigonometry. So you set up your day. So you'll meet with your students on the 9th. Classes are normally early or depending on your schedule, 9 a.m. You can set them to an hour or to 30 minutes. And if you want your classes to be weekly, you can just make them weekly. If you want them to be daily, you can make them daily. I will just leave it as does not repeat. And then from their location, you can leave it as it is. Description or details of this meeting. You can just write the details of this meeting, or you could just leave it as it is. And then you click send, right? So it will add the meeting into your posts. So on your posts, this is where communication, conversations, everything happens. Now you want the link to share with your students. To get that link, once all this is set, you will select Introduction to Trigonometry Meeting to see the details. You will select it. And then you will scroll down. You'll scroll down because we want this option. You will scroll down, and then here is your meeting link. So your students will have to click here to join this meeting. But if you want to copy the link, so you will right click on your PC, and then you will click on copy link. Or you can just copy this whole thing and share with your students via email or via WhatsApp. So let me show you how it looks when you copy the link. This is how it looks. It's a very long Microsoft Teams link. We don't normally advise sharing it like this. We would advise shortening the link. Just to quickly show you how to shorten a link, you can type in tiny URL. There's two options. You can do tiny URL, or you could do bit.ly. Bit.ly link shorten. So here it is. So let's just look at tiny URL. So you'll select tiny URL. So now I'm showing you how to reduce or shorten a long link, just so that you could have that skill. If you do know it, super awesome. It's easier to use. And then you paste that long link, and then you make a tiny URL. So now this is our tiny URL. When you copy it, this is what you will share with your students. Now let me show you how it looks after tiny URL. So this is how it looks now. So this is what you will then share with your students to attend the meeting. So it's yeah, this is too long to share. Once you shorten this is how it looks. I hope you like that part because I like it so much. I always use it. So now this is your meeting details. You've gotten your link, and you're gonna share with your students. You can copy the link just up here as well, up and tiny it, and then there's meeting options. So always make sure that you set your meeting options, especially as a teacher, so that you don't find a situation where you are presenting and a student takes over your meeting. So this is your meeting options. How did I find meeting options? On your meeting details, here it is, meeting options, right? So when you select meeting options, it will take you to a new window where you set who can join your meeting and what can they do. So who can bypass the lobby? All your students. Announce when a caller joins or leaves. It's always important so that you know that Lerato left the session, Lebu left the session, and so forth. Who can present? Everyone. I don't think you'd want that as a teacher. You will then set it as only me. Only you as a teacher can present, so that students do not take over and present your classroom or your meeting. Allow mic for attendees. If you want your students to have the option to unmute and talk to you through your sessions, you allow mic. If you don't want that, you don't allow it. Allow camera for attendees. If you want to see your students' faces, you can allow that. But if you just don't want to see anything they do, you can just switch off the camera, because you don't know what students do when their cameras are on. You can also select record automatically when you start. So the minute the meeting starts, it starts recording, so that in case you forget to record the meeting, you know that it was recorded automatically. And you can allow reactions from your students if you want any reactions from your students. So this is how you set your meeting options to avoid students taking over your meeting. It's very important. The most important one is the present. Allow camera and mic for your attendees. That way these students don't take over. We know we always have that naughty one or two that will just do something out of the ordinary. Or mistakes happen generally. Right. Once you've done all that, you save. And then done saved, then you are set. You know that you find nobody's going to take over anything. All right, don't forget, this is how you share your meeting link. You copy it or you copy here and then you share on WhatsApp group with your students or emails if you're using emails and so forth. Please note with meetings, you can use it for your colleagues' meetings, staff room meetings, or anything that suits you and your colleagues and students. And then once it's time to join the meeting, okay, let me just discard. Once it's time to join your meeting, you'll go to calendar and click on join to join the session. So you can see here, I have a session, excuse me, I have a session tomorrow at 1:30. When it's time, I'll get the link to join, or I can just go here and join. I can share the link, I can chat with the participants, and I see who's the organizer. So that's how it looks, or that's how you can create a virtual session with your students like we are having right now.
You have said a mouthful, ma'am, but since this is an application, I think it would be best if we try it manually, hey? But you really have said a mouthful.
I agree. I definitely agree. Um, so this is just a remember, just to show you what is what, your app bar, your teams. We will share the screenshot so that you remember what is what. Just to do a recap, so we have learned about the models of learning designs. We looked at the framework of digital learning. We were designing learning to maximize creation and meaning. And we looked at digital apps and tools, right? And I wanted to say yo challenge, but now because the first challenge was not done, I'd rather stick to the last challenge and see if you can create a team, a channel, and maybe add one application or tool that you are comfortable with. In our last sessions, we spoke about C Delta, and we wanted you to register for a free Commonwealth of Learning uh, 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 a certificate where basically we are promoting digital education in Commonwealth nations, where you learn digital education skills, you provide training opportunities to students, and we see the whole fostering digital learning and developing skills for citizens for lifelong learning. So this is basically a program, an international program that we thought we can put across to you as teachers, whereby we, like I said, it's digital skills training. We focus on both teachers and students. The aim is to create lifelong digital learning and lifelong learners. And what is lovely is you as teachers get to have an opportunity to get an international certificate as well as 35 SACE points. So I just wanted to quickly take you through the C Delta registration process, so that if you are keen or you are interested, you do log into C Delta and just go through the process of registering on C Delta. So let me just quickly take you through C Delta. So C Delta, you'll go to cdelta.call.org. And then from here, so what's nice about C Delta, it teaches you a lot in terms of the digital world and digital learning. Um, what I loved about it was understanding my digital identity. You know, when someone searches me online, what do they find about me? That was the interesting part about it. How do I increase my network in terms of sharing information? How do I mobilize resources with regards to things that I want to learn in terms of the digital world? So how do you register, or how do you sign up for the Commonwealth of Learning, Commonwealth Digital Education Leadership Training in Action? you'll go to sign up. And then from sign up, you will put in your name. So your name would be Quintress. Okay, my details are already there. Quintress, your surname is Sifala. You write your email address. So I'll just add an email address that is not affiliated with C Delta. And then you select your gender, male or female. You add your date of birth. You add your date of birth. It will take me longer. Okay, I'll just leave that date of birth part. And then you select your country, South Africa. And then you, once you've selected, you put in your password. It will let you know what type of password they want when it comes to C Delta. So you must make sure there's a capital letter, a small letter, a number. So we'll just do a password. And then you confirm your password. And then once you've done that, you select the type of user, so a student or a teacher. And then from there, you will join as an organization. And then from here, you will select SchoolNet South Africa. So you look for SchoolNet South Africa, and then you select SchoolNet South Africa. And then you mark yourself as not a robot, because you're not a robot, you're a human being in this laptop. And then from there, you register. It won't allow me to register because the email that I'm using has registered. So once you register, you'll get an email that will want you to confirm your registration and everything. And once that is confirmed, you will then come back to this site and sign in. So when you do sign in, hope I can log in. When you do log in, we will want you to attempt a pre-test. So a pre-test is basically us trying to determine your understanding of digital learning, digital world, what do you understand. So it looks at a wide range of things, social media, searching online. It also looks at what you understand in terms of the rights that you have with regards to being online, your digital identity and all that. So you will launch, just to show you how a pre-test looks, you will launch a pre-test. It's basically 60 questions for 60 minutes. So you just answer these questions and you submit and you get your pre-test. Once you have done your pre-test, you can send us a certificate that you will get. Okay. You'll send us a, okay, so my first attempt was 52% or 52. And then I got my certificate. You'll basically send us the certificate that lets you know that this certifies that you have completed the Commonwealth Digital Education Leadership Training in Action. And it's an international certificate that you could use in terms of digital learning. So you could share that with us once you have done your post-test as well. You can share both your pre-test and your post-test with us, and we will give you a SACE certificate that has 35 SACE points. And that way you will be closer to receiving your SACE points for the year. A session and you want us to join or be part of that virtual session, then let us know and we will be glad to join your session and see how it goes. Thank you so much. If there's any questions, any comments, please let me know before we close the session. All right. I'd like to assume there's no question because I've said a mouthful. The important thing is to practice. Microsoft Teams takes a lot of practice. So practice and see what you're able to create, what you're able to, to put out there. All right. Thank you so much. Oh, Mr. Mtembu, I see you there. Thank you so much for joining our session today, and I hope you have a lovely afternoon.